Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Story Time with Dianne Coke. Today's story is The Berenstain Bears Say Their Prayers. It was bedtime in the Bear family's treehouse, bedtime after a long, busy day. Little Honey Bear was already asleep in her crib. Brother and sister were ready for bed too. They were bathed and they had their pajamas on. Mama and Papa were done reading them their bedtime stories, but there was one last thing to do before they went to sleep. It was time for brother and sister to kneel down beside their bunk bed and say their prayers. Bless Mama, bless Papa, bless Honey Bear, bless Grizzly Gramps, bless Grizzly Gran, bless Cousin Fred, Uncle Willie, and Aunt Min. Tonight, when Mama and Papa were giving the cubs their goodnight kisses, Brother asked a question. It was a question he had been thinking about for a while. Mama, he said, why do we say prayers before we go to sleep? I was at Barry Bruin's house for a sleepover last week, and he doesn't say prayers at all. Some people just don't believe in saying prayers, said Mama. But we pray at night so we can thank God for the blessings of the day. Good night now, said Mama. Sweet dreams. Thought Brother, as he drifted off in the sleepy darkness. Mama's answer was okay, but he still had a few questions. The next morning, brother and sister were up early. It was Saturday, and they had a little league game with their team, the Sharks. I feel hot today, said sister. I feel a whole lot of hits and stolen bases coming on. Oh yeah? Snorted brother. What about home runs? I guess I'll have to take care of that department. Sure, said sister. Brother Bear, the home run king. She ran, laughing out of the room with Brother Bear chasing her. Sister and brother liked playing on the same team, but sometimes they got a little too competitive. After breakfast, the whole family headed down to the ball field. Brother and sister had practiced before the game. It was Mama and Papa's turn to help with the snack bar. Papa soon had the grill behind the snack bar fired up. Mama opened up the candy stand and Honey Bear started getting into the cotton candy. The team ran out on the field. Today, they were up against the Pumas. The Pumas were one of the best teams in the league. Their leadoff batter was a big, powerful cub twice brother's size. He was twirling 6 bats around his head in the warm-up circle as if they were a bunch of twigs. Uh-oh, said brother. Look who it is. Sister gulped. It was the Beast, the Puma's best player. He could hit and field and pitch. They didn't know his real name. They just called him the Beast. Brother glanced over at Fred on the mound. He looked pretty nervous out there. Play ball, called the ump, and the game was on. The Beast picked out a bat from his bunch and stepped into the batter's box. He glared at Fred on the mound. Brother noticed Fred wasn't glaring back. In fact, he was standing quite still, his head bowed and his hands folded. It looked like his eyes were closed and his lips seemed to be moving. Psst, Fred, called brother. What's up? But Fred didn't answer. He straightened up, took a deep breath, and went into his wind-up. He fired a fast ball. There was a swish and a thump. The beast had missed. Strike one, called the ump. Way to go, Freddy baby, yelled brother. That's the way to pitch 'em in there. Just two more like that? You can do it. There was another swish and another thump. Strike two, yelled the ump. Another swish and thump. Strike three, called the ump. You're out. Fred didn't look nervous anymore. Now it was the batter's turn to look nervous. Fred threw 6 more fast balls to 2 more batters. There were 6 swishes and 6 thumps. Cousin Fred had struck out the side. That was some pitching, Fred, said brother later on as they sat on the bench waiting to go up to bat. Thanks, said Fred. But there was something else on brother's mind. I was wondering, Fred, began brother, what were you doing out there with your head down like that? Oh, shrugged Fred, a little embarrassed. I was just praying. Praying? Said brother in surprise. What were you praying for? Strikeouts? Before Fred could answer, it was his turn to bat. He trotted out of the dugout, leaving brother still wondering. By the end of the game, the Sharks were in a tough spot. They were behind by 1 run with 2 outs and a man on base. The man was Sister. She had gotten to first on a walk and then stolen second. She was a feisty little player. Now it was brother's turn to bat. If he could get a hit, the Sharks might tie it. If he got a home run, they would win. The Puma's pitcher was none other than the Beast. As he walked to the plate, brother felt a little sick. Talk about pressure. Before he stepped into the batter's box, brother decided to do something he had never done in a baseball game. He bowed his head, closed his eyes, and said a prayer. Dear Lord, he prayed, please let me get a hit. Feeling a little more confident, brother stepped up to the plate. The Beast wound up and let it fly. Strike one, called the ump. Brother gripped the bat tighter. He'd get the next one. Another scorcher screamed past. Strike two, called the ump. Brother clenched his teeth. The Beast wound up, the ball flew, and brother swung hard. Swish, thump, strike three, bawled the ump. You're out. The game was over. The Sharks had lost, and brother had struck out. Way to go, home run king, shouted Sister in disgust. Brother trudged back to the dugout. He had never felt so awful in his life. Don't let it get to you, said Fred. That was a tough game. The Pumas are a good team. Yeah, agreed brother. I tried everything. I even tried praying like you did when you struck out the Beast. But it didn't work for me. Really? Said Fred. What did you pray for? I prayed for a hit, naturally, said brother. Oh, said Fred, rubbing his chin. I see. Why? Asked brother. What did you pray for? I just prayed that I wouldn't get too scared, said Fred simply. Brother blinked at him. I guess your prayer was answered. Prayers are always answered, said Fred. Sometimes we just don't get the answer we expect. That evening at bedtime, brother and sister knelt down beside their bunk bed to say their prayers. Tonight, they felt like a nice long one. Bless Mama, bless Papa, bless Honey Bear, bless Grizzly Gramps, bless Grizzly Gran, bless Cousin Fred, Uncle Willie, and Aunt Min. Bless our friends Lizzie and Barry, and bless Teacher Bob. And as brother lay drowsily in his bed, he started thinking over the day's baseball game. That was a tough game today, wasn't it? He said to sister. Yeah, answered sister. Tough on you, Mr. Strikeout King. What's that supposed to mean? Said brother, glaring up at the bottom of her bunk. I played my best. A strikeout like that could happen to anybody. But sister didn't answer. She was fast asleep. Brother rolled over and ground his teeth. Sometimes Sister Bear made him so angry he could just... But then he thought of another prayer. Dear God, he prayed, please help me with my little sister. And to his surprise, he found his prayer had been answered. He didn't feel angry anymore. Thanks for the help up there, he said, and with a sigh, he fell asleep. The end.